Mu transmigrates into the body of a noble heir who is about to marry a princess, only to be kidnapped by demonic cultivators because of his innate pure yang body and sold to a demon sect, a situation that proves his wedding plans were, quite literally, taken in a completely different direction. He is rescued by a senior sister and thinks he has found a benefactor, but instead, disaster strikes, because in his case, good luck seems to come with very suspicious terms and conditions. Fortunately, he awakens the 10,000-fold return system. When his pure yang is taken, the system compensates him with an even stronger Crimson Yang sacred body, as if the universe is apologizing by saying, "Here, have an upgrade." They steal his treasures and pills. The system returns something even better, turning every loss into an oddly profitable transaction, much to the probable frustration of anyone trying to rob him. Relying on these rewards, Zhao Mu rises step by step to become humanity's supreme prodigy, protecting the women he loves and leaving no enemies alive, proving that in his journey, setbacks are merely investments with extremely high returns. Well, the summary of the story had already been told, so let me remind everyone that before diving in, don't forget to like and subscribe, while also sharing your thoughts in the comments, because even at the end of the world, engagement still matters. Now let's start from the very beginning in detail.
Story starts at the Shanwu continent, St. Yuan Demon Sect. A man is bound and begs his senior sister to let him go. Woman presses down on man and refuses, making it clear she will not release him. She laughs softly and tells him that today is his big wedding day. She asks whether he truly has the heart to let his concubine stay alone in an empty room. The man explains that his name is Zhao Mu, and that, although it sounds ridiculous, he is truly a transmigrator. While the woman questions whether the body of his concubine is no longer enough to satisfy him, he describes her as a woman who satisfies her perverted desires by role-playing different characters. She asks if she should change into something else, and he immediately states that she is definitely not his wife. He recounts that 1 year ago he transmigrated into a noble son of the continent, and even had a marriage contract with a princess of the dynasty. Just as he was about to reach the peak of life, he was kidnapped by a gang of demons from the St. Yuan Demon Sect. He never imagined back then that becoming a prisoner was just the beginning, and the real nightmare was yet to come. It turned out that his pure yang constitution was the best supplement for cultivating the 9 yin mystic art. He states that he became a tool for them to improve their cultivation base. He adds that even though he was full of pure yang energy, it did not change his situation. While the woman asks why he has not gotten into the mood yet, he states that he has now reached the brink of death as he coughs up blood. He says that he does not want to die yet. The woman says that being able to die at her hands should make him feel honored. She presents a solidifying yang pill, and explains that it will refine his medicinal power, stimulate his pure yang constitution, and help her 9 yin mystic art break through with the pure yang energy he has. The man named Zhao Mu struggles, gasping, and the woman says that if helping her break through means his death, then so be it, but he begs her not to let him go. He questions whether he is really going to be drained to death like this, clenches his bleeding fist, and declares that he is not resigned to this and will never give up. An unknown system reports that an extremely strong will to survive has been detected, that the return system has been awakened successfully, and instructs the host to bind the system sphere. He grips the glowing system sphere and realizes that a chance to turn things around has finally arrived. The system reports that binding has been detected, that the host received the system too late, and that compensation is being issued, guaranteeing the first return to be a 10,000-fold reward. The woman teases that although Zhao Mu's mouth refuses, his body is quite honest. Zhao Mu curses her inwardly and admits that he set aside his dignity to survive as a servant disciple. While telling her he will satisfy her properly and calling her senior sister, she reacts with surprise as Zhao Mu suddenly moves against her. She laughs, and he thinks why she will not just let him go, while she telling him not to go easy on her. Zhao Mu decides that since the heavens have given him a chance, he must personally take control of his own destiny. The woman says that this place belongs only to him as she clings to him. The next day arrives with Zhao Mu lying exhausted. Our bro is literally drained, while the woman stretches and leaves the room. She tells him that although he contributed only a small amount of pure yang power, his performance last night was not bad, adds that it is a pity about those solidifying yang pills, and says that if he manages to survive, senior sister will have even more fun with him. The system reports that Zhao Mu was drained of pure yang power by the 9-charm heavenly fox, triggering a 10,000-fold return, congratulates the host on obtaining the red yang sacred body, and announces that the reward has been issued, and empowerment is commencing. The system reports that Zhao Mu breaks through the 3rd layer of qi refining, then the 4th layer, and finally the 10th layer of qi refining, the Great Circle. Zhao Mu senses the surge of strength, and recognizes it as the power of a sacred body. He states that now is not the time to act high profile, noting that the St. Yuan Demon Sect is full of strong experts, and that exposure would lead to an even worse fate than becoming a cultivation furnace. he decides to take advantage of this time, while no one is paying attention to him, to accumulate strength as quickly as possible. Walking through the sect, he notes that spirit stones are the foundation for improving cultivation, and considers that with his current Red Yang sacred body, taking private jobs from senior sisters could earn him more. He stops himself and decides that with a system, he should think bigger. He asks whether there is any other way to quickly earn spirit stones and falls silent. A man is identified as Heiwan's sect outer disciple Wang Chan. Zhao Mu recalls that when he first entered the sect, Wang Chan took care of him a little, and decides it is time to repay him. Zhao Mu considers giving Wang Chan the 200 spirit stones he saved, believing it will surely return a large amount of spirit stones. Wang Chan reacts in surprise, recognizes the stones as spirit stones, and remarks that this better cultivation has unexpectedly brought him a big gain of spirit stones to aid his practice. He smiles and says that his luck and better cultivation have brought him a big gain of spirit stones to aid his practice. The system informs that Zhao Mu has given away 200 spirit stones, triggering a 500-fold return. The system reports that 100,000 spirit stones have been obtained. Zhao Mu realizes he has earned 100,000 spirit stones, and remarks that making money is too easy. He notes that a mere 100,000 spirit stones count for nothing, and considers that triggering a 10,000-fold return would yield 2 million spirit stones. He decides that in the future he will make those who humiliated him pay it back many times over. He wonders whether taking the spirit stones rewarded by the system and giving them away again would trigger another return. Spirit stones suddenly rain down around Wang Chan, causing him to panic and ask what is happening. Wang Chan looks at the scattered stones and calls Zhao Mu a noble benefactor, saying spirit stones are raining from the sky. Wang Chan assures Zhao Mu that he will work harder in cultivation and never let him down. Zhao Mu observes that the reaction is exactly as expected, and concludes that the system cannot be exploited like that. Someone calls out to Zhao Mu as junior brother. A woman appears and asks in surprise whether Zhao Mu has actually not died yet. Zhao Mu recognizes her as Lu Qi, and greets her as senior sister. He thinks that Lu Qi is an outer disciple cultivating the 9 yin mystic art. Zhao Mu recalls that she once took good care of him when he first joined the sect, but stopped coming to find him after he was taken away by Chu Xiaoran. Lu Qi observes that Zhao Mu's cultivation has improved quite a bit recently, and says his pure yang constitution seems even stronger than she imagined. Zhao Mu responds respectfully, telling senior sister Lu not to flatter him and saying it was just luck. Lu Qi abruptly tells him to stop talking nonsense. She grabs Zhao Mu's hand, startling him. Lu Qi states that Chu Xiaoran is going into seclusion to break through in the next few days, and says that Zhao Mu should properly help her cultivate. Lu Qi summons a sword-like flying artifact and tells Zhao Mu to get on. As the artifact moves, Zhao Mu clings to Lu Qi and asks her to slow down. Lu Qi remarks that she has not seen him for a few months and notes that his cultivation and aura have changed drastically, asking whether he gained some benefits from that slutty fox Chu Xiaoran. Zhao Mu sighs and says that senior sister Chu only takes from him and that it would be impossible for him to gain any benefits. Lu Qi warns that demons are not benevolent, and says that if he follows Chu Xiaoran, he will sooner or later be drained of his pure yang and die. She tells him that once she breaks through to the core formation realm, she will challenge Chu Xiaoran, and if she wins, Zhao Mu will follow him from then on. Zhao Mu says then he should rely on her while she says he is too close. Zhao Mu thinks that what does she thinks to follow her from now on, what they think about him. They both arrive at Saint Yuan Daemon sect, inner sect. She tells him that she is going to break through the core formation realm. If he helps her smoothly, then she can gift him a vitality pill as reward. Lu Qi tells Zhao Mu to sit first because she is going to bathe. Zhao Mu watches her leave and lets out a quiet hum, smiling to himself. Lu Qi undresses behind a curtain and steps into a wooden tub filled with hot water and floating petals. As she sinks into the bath, she thinks that no one is stopping this time, and that she definitely must continue. Zhao Mu suddenly appears behind her, asking what she must do. Lu Qi is startled and lets out a cry, questioning why he suddenly came in. Zhao Mu says that time is precious and that washing together is faster, then says they should begin. Lu Qi reacts shyly as he moves close, while Zhao Mu praises senior sister Lu's 9 yin mystic art, and remarks that her cultivation is truly amazing. She also notes that his pure yang constitution is quite domineering. After a moment, Zhao Mu exhales, and says he did not expect senior sister Lu, who cultivates the 9 yin mystic art, to be like this. Lu Qi leans on the edge of the tub, breathing unevenly, and tells him that it is enough that he knows, and that there is no need to say it out loud. Zhao Mu agrees and Lu Qi states that she is getting married next month. She looks down sadly and says that the person's name is Long Tiansheng, and that Zhao Mu should recognize it. Zhao Mu reacts with shock upon hearing the name. He says that Long Tiansheng broke through to the nascent soul realm before the age of 30, and is hailed as a supreme genius not seen in the Saint Yuan Demon sect for 1,000 years. Zhao Mu looks up with a tense expression, and states that the man has comprehended sword intent on his own, and is a powerhouse listed among heaven's prides. Zhao Mu covers his face with one hand. She explains him that when Long Tianxiang cultivated an ancient sword manual in the past, he damaged his own meridians and became a eunuch. She adds that as long as nothing is said, outsiders will not know. Zhao Mu reacts in confusion as Lu Qi presses a hand against his chest. She states that if she did not truly like him, she would not give him her most precious thing. Zhao Mu softly addresses her as senior sister. She then leans in and covers his eyes with her hands, their faces drawing close. Outside the room, their silhouettes are visible through the window. He says the senior sister is on the verge of breaking through, and they should continue working hard. While she calls him an idiot, the scene cuts to the next day. Lu Qi lies unconscious on a bed. Zhao Mu sits shirtless and senses a change, stating that it is coming. System panel appears, stating that Red Yang power was drained, triggering a body-forged return, and that Red Yang's sacred body intensity has significantly increased. Golden energy erupts around Zhao Mu as he clenches his fist. The system congratulates the host for breaking through to the Foundation establishment stage, and he says that in just this short while, he has already broken through the threshold of the Foundation establishment realm. He says that at this speed, even if he faces Long Tianxiang and the Long family, he will not be afraid at all, and he affirms it. He calls for Lu Qi to wake up and asks where his reward is. Lu Qi reacts weakly. She tells Zhao Mu that he is really too amazing, says she cannot hold on anymore and needs to sleep a bit, and Zhao Mu says there are actually 10 vitality pills and that Lu Qi is truly generous. He thinks that since he has to give away pills anyway, he should not seek far and wide when the target is right here. The system states that he gave away a second-grade vitality pill and triggered a 30-fold return reward, obtaining a third-grade vitality pill. He comments that only 30-fold is not great, then says there are 9 chances left and that even if he does not ask for a 10,000-fold return, 1,000-fold should be fine. The system states that he gave away a second-grade vitality pill and triggered a 3,000-fold return. While Lu Qi breathes heavily and starts to speak, Zhao Mu says hey. The system states that Zhao Mu obtained a 7th-grade marrow cleansing pill. Zhao Mu says it is actually a marrow cleansing pill and that this is good stuff. Then explains that like the origin nurturing pill, the marrow cleansing pill also has the efficacy of solidifying the foundation and nurturing vitality, but that is just a bonus effect. Zhao Mu says the greatest value of the marrow cleansing pill is improving a cultivator's root bone aptitude. Zhao Mu says he was born with a pure yang constitution, and his aptitude is already considered excellent among mortals. But compared to those favored geniuses within the sect, his little bit of aptitude is simply not worth mentioning. He says that to walk higher and fly further, he must raise the upper limit of his root bone aptitude. Zhao Mu reacts to the medicinal power and says he must hurry and refine it. After a while, Lu Qi tells Zhao Mu he smells so bad and to go wash up quickly, and Zhao Mu says he will go wash up. Zhao Mu turns on the water and washes himself while holding a towel. Lu Qi says Zhao Mu broke through to the Foundation establishment realm and asks if the effects of the origin nurturing pill are really that good. She says that just Foundation establishment would not purify the body to that extent, and asks if Zhao Mu ate some other pill. Zhao Mu thinks that if he let senior sister know he suddenly obtained a marrow cleansing pill, it would be hard to explain. Zhao Mu says it is the credit of his dual cultivation with senior sister, but senior sister Lu Qi seems to not have succeeded in core formation yet. Lu Qi stammers at him. Zhao Mu says that it must be that junior brother did not put in enough effort, and that junior brother will help senior sister once more, free of charge. Lu Qi calls him a madman and asks if he does not want his life. Zhao Mu says this is also so senior sister can break through sooner. After some times, Lu Qi lies dazed on the bed. Zhao Mu tells Lu Qi to take her time breaking through and says he is going back first. The system states that Zhao Mu successfully plucked of pure yang energy, triggering 10-fold return, and that red yang power increased slightly. Zhao Mu moves quickly through the stairs and says this is the power of the Foundation establishment realm, and that his whole body feels lighter. Zhao Mu says that once he gets a flying sword, he can ride the sword into the sky and roam the 4 seas. At Outer Sect Market, someone says fellow Taoist is generous, and thanks Zhao Mu for coming and buying. Zhao Mu sees Star-Guarding Slayer, cast from extraterrestrial meteoric iron. He says the sword body is engraved with a star vortex array, which can absorb the power of the stars and increase the flying sword's lethality. Zhao Mu says just this one flying sword costs 30,000 spirit stones, and wonders how many times the return will be when he gives it away later. Someone calls him Pretty Boy, and says they finally caught him, and Zhao Mu reacts with confusion. Zhao Mu recognizes Niu Tai. He thinks that Niu Tai is an outer disciple, and also one of Chu Jiaoran's loyal suitors, and that he came looking for trouble with Zhao Mu a few times before, but was discovered and stopped in time by Chu Jiaoran. Zhao Mu thinks Niu Tai is a Foundation establishment cultivator who inherited the Ox Demon bloodline, is far stronger than human cultivators of the same realm, and is perfect for testing Zhao Mu's current strength. Niu Tai says Lord Niu heard Zhao Mu met with senior sister Chu again, asking if this is true. Zhao Mu asks, What if it is? Niu Tai yells at Zhao Mu. Niu Tai tells Zhao Mu to go to hell. Zhao Mu stops Niu Tai's punch. Zhao Mu apologizes and says he still wants to keep this life to have more fun with senior sister Chu. Niu Tai understands that Zhao Mu already reached Foundation Establishment realm, and Niu Tai raged and looked down on Zhao Mu for breaking through. He tried to show Zhao Mu his full power. Zhao Mu states that Niu Tai's strength is indeed not small but lacks speed. While dodging, he thinks that Red Yang's sacred body is indeed extraordinary. He just broke through and can easily handle Niu Tai, who is the top 100 of the outer sect. Zhao Mu attacks with his fist. With just one attack, Niu Tai is knocked down on the ground. Some people rush there. One of them says he dared to injure boss Niu. Doesn't he know the status of Niu's family within the sect? Zhao Mu attacks with his sword. Man is shocked while seeing this, then asked what does it mean. Zhao Mu says that flying sword is worth 30,000 spirit stones, so they can use it as medical fee. System tells him about 1,000-fold return, and rewards him with grade 5 flying sword named Heavenly Star Hunter. Both the men try to attack on Zhao Mu from behind. Zhao Mu turned and moved in to attack them. The two men dropped to the ground in pain, shocked by the sudden ambush. Zhao Mu noticed someone there. A woman appears named as Mu Juling, saying she had seen them sneak attack first and questioned why they still dared to complain. Zhao Mu and Mu Juling faced each other in the street. Mu Juling called out Zhao Mu's name and scolded him for being careless. She reminded him that when dealing with enemies he had to cut the weeds and dig up the roots. The remaining men curse at her, but she identifies herself as Mu Juling, intimidating them into retreating. She calls them cowards, then turns to Zhao Mu and presses close, teasing him and flirting openly. Zhao Mu thinks she has been watching him since he joined the sect, and assumes she is only interested in his appearance, not his pure yang power. He recognizes her as Mu Juling of the Saint Yuan demon sect, and notes that others would not expect this side of her. Mu Juling softens and admits she is worried, saying she showed up in time, and asks who would marry her if he died. Zhao Mu responds that dying is not that easy, and Mu Juling declares he cannot be in danger because he is her future husband. She grabs him and tells him to follow her as they leave together through the market crowd. Mu Juling pulls him along while flying through the air with a red aura. He thinks that flying without a flying sword is something only core formation cultivators can do. He wonders what exactly is her cultivation level. She brings him to a quiet area near a building, and he wonders if this is the Saint Yuan demon sect's core holy land, and if she is a personal disciple. Mu Juling says to come inside with her because it is her home. Inside, she says she comes here sometimes to read books and sleep. She lies down and tells him to come over quickly, while he warns her not to try anything because his self-control is limited. She asks what messy thoughts are in his head. She hands over a book and says here. He looks at the books labeled True Chapter of Sword Control and One Chi Mystic, and mentions the True Chapter of Sword Control and One Chi Mystic Sword Art. He asks how she knew he wanted to cultivate sword control, and she says he just broke through to the Foundation Establishment stage not long ago, and ran to the market to buy a flying sword, so she guessed he definitely wanted to learn sword control. She adds that she is also giving him the flying sword and says it is a 4th grade cold attribute flying sword called Frost Foil. She says she sees the pure yang surging inside him, and this flying sword is just right to suppress his evil fire and save him from thinking about those things all day. He says then she really is thoughtful. She tells him to stay here and cultivate sword control for a few days and that she will handle other matters for him. She adds that since he has already broken through to Foundation Establishment, he does not need to be a servant disciple anymore, and she will have someone help upgrade his disciple token to outer sect level later. He asks who exactly she is. She says she is the person he will marry sooner or later. She closes the door. He says this little girl really knows how to flirt. Zhao Mu says to forget it, and that cultivating sword control is more important. He cultivates with glowing talismans around him and remains silent. He complains that he did not use the marrow cleansing pill to improve his aptitude, and wonders why learning sword control is still so difficult. He wonders if the marrow cleansing pill only improved his physical body's aptitude, but did not improve his comprehension. Zhao Mu says he has the system but cannot continue cultivating because his comprehension is too poor, and that he is really going to cry to death. A horned beast appears, and Zhao Mu reacts with confusion. Zhao Mu says that since even primordial yang can count as giving, then comprehension should also be able to trigger the system return. Zhao Mu calls the little guy, and suggests teaching the multiplication table. Zhao Mu teaches the multiplication table to the beast. The system informs that he enlightened a demon beast, imparted knowledge, and triggered a 100-fold return. The system states that the host's comprehension has increased significantly. Zhao Mu says it actually works. He cultivates his golden talismans surround him. He says that the originally obscure kung fu can now be comprehended immediately. He says this amount of improvement in aptitude is still not enough in this world, and still not enough as a transmigrator. He notices the beast and says, He says that since it is eager to learn, this teacher will teach a new subject called geometry theorems. The system informs that he taught calculus knowledge, triggered a 100-fold return, and comprehension drastically improved. The system states that the host's current comprehension value has reached the upper limit for the current strength stage and cannot continue to improve. He says that to think comprehension actually has an upper limit. He says that with his current comprehension, comprehending these cultivation methods should not be a problem. He uses Vajra Fist, Wind Red Thunder art. He uses 3 talents, 6 fates divination art. Zhao Mu says they are all unrated yellow rank techniques and too crude for him now. He says he has already completely memorized these techniques, and after he gets out, he can write them down and give them to others to farm a huge wave of return rewards. The beast squeaks. Zhao Mu asks if it wants to give this bone to him, and the beast squeaks again. Zhao Mu thanks it and says he will make soup later. He notices Chaos Xuanming art and says he did not expect the little guy to actually give him a technique. The system reports a detected technique called Chaos Xuanming art, and that it is automatically learning. Zhao Mu reacts in surprise and groans in pain as blood sprays from his mouth. He says his comprehension has already reached the limit of the Foundation Establishment realm, yet he still cannot comprehend this technique, and wonders if it could be an Earth rank or even Heaven rank technique. Mujuling asks Zhao Mu what happened to him. She says it is all her fault for giving him such a difficult technique to cultivate right away, and Zhao Mu tries to deny it. Mujuling says cultivation cannot be rushed for quick benefits, and that she has prepared food, so they should eat first. Mujuling says she will feed him and tells him to say ah, and she will feed Zhao Mu and tells him to say ah. He thinks that since Mujuling is here, that would mean something. Mujuling tells him to eat a little more. Zhao Mu says he will give this technique to her to see if it is of any use. Mujuling reacts with She asks where he got this technique from. Zhao Mu says a small demon beast gave it to him. The technique recorded on it is too profound, and he cannot learn it, so he will give it to her. Mujuling notes Chaos Xuanming art. The system states that he gifted an Earth rank technique, Chaos Xuanming art, and triggered a 60-fold return. He thinks it is here. The system states that he obtained an Earth rank high-grade technique, Pure Yang Xuanming art. The system detects that Pure Yang Xuanming art is compatible with the host's Red Yang sacred body, and asks if he wants to mediate empowerment. He agrees and says to talk later. She thinks that she does not know how long empowerment takes, and cannot let Mujuling get suspicious. Mujuling scolds the stinky dog for stealing her technique again and says it almost killed her future husband. Zhao Mu asks if he was killed. Mujuling says fortunately he did not force the cultivation, that he has a pure Yang constitution, and that this Xuanming art possesses chaos attributes. She says this clashes with his pure Yang body, and if he forced the cultivation, his meridians might have exploded and caused death. Zhao Mu realizes it was not his comprehension that was wrong, but that this technique clashes with his constitution. Mujuling says his constitution is special. Suitable techniques for him are rare, and she needs time to collect them, so before that he should cultivate some basic introductory techniques to accumulate experience. Zhao Mu says she treats him so well and asks what exactly she is plotting. Mujuling says it is not her plot for him. Mujuling tells Zhao Mu to just yield to her. Mujuling says as long as he becomes a Dao companion with her, she guarantees he can eat delicious food and drink spicy wine in the Saint Yuanyu demon sect, and no one will dare touch a single hair on him. Zhao Mu reacts with hesitation. Someone shouts that it is nonsense. A violent purple energy erupts into the sky. Mujuling calls Zhao Mu's name. Zhao Mu thinks that a terrifying aura and wonders who this person is. Mujuling calls out to her master in shock. Mujuling asks why her master is here. Mujuling's master asks if her presence sour the taste of their good deed. Mujuling says that the disciple does not dare. The master says Mujuling is the disciple she values most, and that she intended to groom her to inherit the position of the sect's saintess. She tells Mujuling to look at herself, and says that not only does she not cultivate properly, she even keeps a servant disciple in her residence to flirt and fool around. Zhao Mu thinks that this sect's saintess is actually Mujuling's master, and notes that this explains Mujuling's confidence. Mujuling kneels and asks her master to forgive her, saying that the disciple knows her mistake. The master, or say saintess of the sect, says that since Mujuling knows her mistake, she will give her one chance. She orders Mujuling to kill this servant disciple with her own hands, sever her roots of affection, and then follow her back to Purple Cloud Peak, to enter closed-door cultivation for 30 years. Mujuling kneels in shock while a sword stands before her, and Zhao Mu remains restrained by purple energy. Mujuling says this has nothing to do with Zhao Mu, that if the disciple kills Zhao Mu, her Dao heart will surely be affected and she fears her cultivation will be hard to advance further. The saintess asks if Mujuling is threatening her. Purple energy surges violently as Mujuling and Zhao Mu are pressed down, both struggling under the pressure. Zhao Mu appears behind Mujuling restraining her, and thinks that the saintess truly intends to deal a lethal hand to her own apprentice. Mu Juling weakly calls out to her master. Mu Juling notices Zhao Mu and asks if it is him. Zhao Mu urges Mu Juling to hurry and harvest her spiritual power through him. Zhao Mu grips Mu Juling from behind as golden energy flares around them. The saintess observes and realizes Zhao Mu has a pure yang body, then corrects herself and says he has awakened the red yang sacred body. She praises Mu Juling's judgment and says the red yang sacred body is rarely seen, acknowledging that Mu Juling does have potential. Mu Juling mocks that if she had known earlier about the red yang sacred body, she would have tied Zhao Mu to the bed and forced higher self on him. While Zhao Mu reacts in confusion, the saintess coughs repeatedly, and Zhao Mu says Mu Juling spoke without thinking, adding that she is talking nonsense. The saintess says that for Mu Juling's sake, she will spare Zhao Mu's life for now. She tells Zhao Mu to return to the outer sect to cultivate and not to break through to the nascent soul realm. Mu Juling is pulled away by purple energy, and Zhao Mu reacts in shock. The saintess warns Zhao Mu not to come looking for Mu Juling. She departs with Mu Juling in a streak of purple light, leaving Zhao Mu standing alone. Zhao Mu thinks that if the saintess wanted to kill him, it would only take a single thought. Zhao Mu steadies himself and says he needs strength and must become even stronger. At the servant quarters, Zhao Mu returns to his room and stops in front of the desk. He says that although the trip was dangerous, he at least gained an Earth rank high-grade cultivation technique and a 4th-grade flying sword. The system states that empowerment is beginning. Zhao Mu responds that he understands and sits down to cultivate as golden energy surges around him. Zhao Mu observes his cultivation speed and wonders if it is due to stacking the pure Yang Xuanyang art with the red Yang sacred body. The system detects that the surrounding heaven and earth spiritual energy is insufficient for him, and asks whether it should automatically absorb spiritual energy for cultivation, which makes Zhao Mu react in brief confusion. Zhao Mu selects yes. Spirit stones appear around him, and Zhao Mu recognizes them as the spirit stones he saved before. Large amounts of spirit stones begin breaking apart and releasing energy. Zhao Mu notes that the spiritual energy is arriving. Time passes into the night as the building around him remains quiet. Zhao Mu senses something off and looks down. He realizes that the spirit stones he saved were used up, calculating that 70,000 were consumed in one night. Zhao Mu acknowledges the cost but says that breaking through to the 3rd layer of foundation establishment in one night is not bad. Zhao Mu stretches as he steps out and thinks that next he needs to figure out a way to make money. Several people stop him and call out his name. A group of servant disciples stands before him, led by Hu Chang, who mentions that he heard senior sister Chu gave Zhao Mu quite a few benefits. Hu Chang asks whether Zhao Mu is not planning to show some appreciation to them. Zhao Mu watches Hu Chang acting arrogantly, and recalls that Hu Chang relies on his decent cultivation to bully men and dominate women in the servant quarters, and that before, a new servant disciple contradicted him, and was beaten to death that very night. Zhao Mu directly questions Hu Chang, accusing him of robbing people all day and asking if he must have saved quite a few spirit stones. Hu Chang becomes angry and asks what business it is of Zhao Mu's. He attacks Zhao Mu, declaring that Zhao Mu is looking for a beating. Zhao Mu calmly avoids the attack and says it is too slow, adding that with just this, Hu Chang wants to beat him. Zhao Mu counterattacks and tells Hu Chang to learn from this. The other servant disciples rush over, calling out to Brother Chang and asking if he is okay. Hu Chang coughs heavily and stares in shock, saying that Zhao Mu actually did it. He realizes that Zhao Mu actually broke through to the foundation establishment realm. Zhao Mu stands calmly with blazing energy around him and asks if it is that obvious. Hu Chang tells the others not to just stand there staring and to attack together. The others agree. They rush forward toward Zhao Mu, standing calmly ahead. 2 of the muscular men swing their glowing fists down at Zhao Mu. He steps in between them and avoids the blows as their attacks crash past him. In the distance, 2 disciples watch. One says she did not expect junior brother Zhao Mu to break through to foundation establishment so quickly. The male disciple beside them explains that he only just broke through to foundation establishment, and that facing so many chi refining stages at the same time is still strenuous. Wang Chan calls out for junior brother Zhao Mu to be careful. Zhao Mu raises 2 fingers, and red light gathers at his fingertips. As the attackers close in, he releases his power and tells them to get lost. A burst of red energy explodes outward, knocking the muscular men away and throwing them to the ground. Hu Chang, his body covered in red markings and his eyes glowing, leaps forward in rage and curses him. Zhao Mu remains calm as Hu Chang crashes down behind him, the impact shattering the ground. Hu Chang charges again, shouting for him to go to hell. Zhao Mu turns with a faint smile, red energy wrapping around his fist, and drives a single punch forward. The strike lands with force, blasting Hu Chang across the ground and leaving him bloodied as he collapses face down. Hu Chang's tiger demon's massive body is blasted through the air and crashes into the muscular man, slamming him to the ground. Hu Chang, blood dripping from his mouth, glares forward and tells Zhao Mu to just wait for him. Zhao Mu stands with red energy rising around his body. He steps forward and presses his foot down on Hu Chang's fallen tiger demon's head. He tells him to shut up. People from the crowd praise Brother Zhao, saying he vented their anger for them. They remark that those tiger demons usually throw their weight around, and that no one expected them to finally kick an iron plate today. Zhao Mu raises a hand and tells everyone to wait a moment. Red energy coils from his hand and pulls a storage bag toward him. He stands over the unconscious Hu Chang while holding the bag. He explains that these are the spirit stones Hu Chang usually robbed, and that today he will return them all to their original owners. He opens the bag and calls out. A large number of colorful spirit stones burst into the air and scatter outward as he throws them. The crowd kneels and reaches up as the stones fall around them. They shout "Long live Zhao Mu" and exclaim that there are so many spirit stones. The system reports that he gifted 9,000 spirit stones, triggering a 1,000-fold return and obtaining 9 million spirit stones. Zhao Mu smiles and thinks that now he will not be lacking spirit stones for a little while. Zhao Mu tells senior brother Wang Chan that he has taken care of him since he entered the sect, and asks him to accept this. He explains that it is actually a qi refining pill. Wang Chan refuses, saying it is too precious, and that he does not dare accept it. Zhao Mu tells him to stop talking nonsense, and just eat it. He flicks the pill straight into Wang Chan's mouth. The system reports that he sent out a first-grade qi refining pill, triggering a 100-fold return, and obtaining a second-grade foundation establishment pill. Zhao Mu lets out a faint smile. Wang Chan coughs and says that junior brother Zhao truly makes him see him in a new light, but the power behind Hu Chang and Niu Tai is not small. He advises Zhao Mu to enter the outer sect quickly and find his own backer. Zhao Mu replies that he has the same intention. At the outer sect management hall, inside the hall, a large furnace burns with intense flames, while a man named as Zhang Dingkun, outer sect manager, stands beside it. Zhao Mu steps inside, clasps his hands, and greets Lord Manager Jiang, introducing himself as disciple Zhao Mu. Jiang Dingkun remains silent, facing forward without responding to Zhao Mu's greeting. He raises a hand toward the blazing furnace. The flames surge violently. The furnace lid suddenly bursts open with a loud explosion. Jiang Dingkun cries out in alarm while Zhao Mu, watching from the side, exclaims in shock. Smoke spreads through the hall. Jiang Dingkun coughs repeatedly. He angrily blames Zhao Mu for disturbing his state of mind and ruining the pill refinement, ordering him to get out. Zhao Mu points at himself and questions whether he is being blamed. He thinks that Jiang Dingkun clearly ruined the pill refinement on purpose just now, and based on the temperature, what he was refining was not the precious purple qi pill at all. He wonders why Jiang Dingkun is making things difficult for no reason, and considers that someone might be instructing him from behind the scenes. Jiang Dingkun, still irritated, asks why he has not left yet, and says he does not want to see him. Zhao Mu tells him not to be anxious, and takes out 50,000 spirit stones, asking him to accept them with a smile. Jiang Dingkun, holding a teacup, spits out his drink in shock. He immediately changes his attitude, laughing and saying that since little brother is here to process the outer sect disciple nameplate, he will handle it right away. Zhao Mu responds that he will trouble Manager Jiang. He smiles and asks whether Manager Jiang can tell him who wants to stop him from promoting to an outer disciple. Jiang Dingkun responds that he only takes money to solve problems for people and does not dare to do things like selling others out. Zhao Mu nods and says he understands. He then brings out more spirit stones and wonders if these are enough. Jiang Dingkun's expression changes in surprise. He coughs and tells Zhao Mu to come closer. Zhao Mu steps forward and says good. Jiang Dingkun form a pattern with small stones scattered on the ground. Zhao Mu realizes that it is actually Chu Jiaoran. He realizes that Chu Jiaoran has a transcendent status in the outer sect, and that her spies and eyes are everywhere. If he continues moving around in the outer sect, sooner or later he will be caught by Chu Jiaoran. Jiang Dingkun claims he did not say anything. Zhao Mu thanks Lord Manager for the reminder. Later, Zhao Mu stands on a flying sword above the sect as golden light surrounds him. He decides that he can only go find Lu Qi and hide out at her place for a while to avoid the wind. At her residence, Zhao Mu rides the flying sword wrapped in golden light and heads toward the courtyard. He looks down at a brightly lit building and wonders why two men are coming out of Liu Qi's room. Two men appears. One is identified as Saint Yuan Daemon Sect Heavenly Pride Rank 5th, Long Tian Shang. The other is Saint Yuan Daemon Sect 12 Elders, Lu Haikong. Lu Haikong says that now that Chi'er has achieved core formation, the matter of the marriage alliance should be put on the agenda. Long Tianxiang responds that he understands, and that once he takes first place in this year's grand hunting competition, he will marry their granddaughter. Lu Haikong laughs, and says he looks forward to the day of their wedding. From a distance, Zhao Mu watches and clicks his tongue, calling him Cuckold Long. He flies down toward the courtyard and calls out, asking if senior sister is there. Lu Qi opens the door with a smile and calls him junior brother Zhao. Inside, Zhao Mu asks whether Long Tianshan came to discuss the marriage. Lu Qi immediately tells him not to mention that name in front of her because she does not like hearing it. Lu Qi leans close to Zhao Mu and asks why he took the initiative to come find her. Zhao Mu explains that it is all because of that vixen who would not let him enter the outer sect. Lu Qi snorts and says she has already broken through to core formation. She clenches her fists and declares that once she consolidates her cultivation, she will challenge that woman in a few days. Then she adds that being able to break through to core formation so quickly is all thanks to him. Zhao Mu warns that if she continues like this, he will not be able to hold back his red yang power. Lu Qi tells him not to hold back. She presses him down and says she wants him to help her cultivate. Behind the closed curtains, their silhouettes move together as she calls out to her junior brother. Later, Lu Qi lies on the bed breathing heavily. The system reports that his red yang power was harvested, triggered a 50 times return, and that his red yang power increased slightly. Zhao Mu sits up shirtless and questions why the increase is so little. The system informs Zhao Mu that he has been harvested by Lu Qi too many times, and that the return rewards will gradually decay. He falls silent, glancing at Lu Qi asleep behind him. He concludes that investing too much in one person causes the multiplier to decrease. He considers that perhaps finding a few more senior sisters to cultivate with could increase the system's drop rate. He nods to himself, convinced of his reasoning. Then he dismisses the thought for later and sits cross-legged to cultivate. Golden light gathers around him as spirit stones float and shatter one after another, their energy pouring into his body. He resolves to focus on strengthening himself, believing that becoming stronger is the absolute truth. His aura surges. Flames of golden chi erupt upward as the system announces successive breakthroughs. Foundation establishment 3rd layer, then 4th layer. He opens his eyes abruptly. The energy in his hands has already been exhausted before he can reach the 5th layer. He realizes he has not even broken through to the 5th layer yet. Looking at the scattered fragments of spirit stones, he reflects that the sacred body's consumption of resources is far too great. He needs to continue accumulating resources. Suddenly, a strange sound echoes from outside. He frowns, sensing movement beyond the room. He lifts the window frame and looks out, asking what that sound was just now. Reacting to the sudden presence and wondering what had just happened, the two stood face to face at close distance. Saintess looked straight at him, while he stared back with a tense expression and sweat on his face. He recognized her and addressed her with surprise, calling her Saintess. She corrected him and told him to call her Zixuan. Zhao Mu sat on the bed with a relaxed posture, and wondered what business Lady Zixuan had in seeking him out personally. Saintess crossed her arms and looked down at him in silence while he hesitated. She leaned close and stated that she wanted his pure yang power to help her cultivate. He reacted with shock at her words. Zhao Mu raised a hand to stop her and explained that harvest-type techniques had slow growth efficiency in the later stages and that she should not need his help. Saintess called him a good brat as power surged around her. The energy struck Zhao Mu, and he was thrown back onto the bed, his body tensing as the force enveloped him. Zhao Mu felt the overwhelming spiritual pressure bearing down on him. Saintess told him to stop stalling and to answer whether he was willing or not. He forced a smile and under her command said that he was willing. He held on to hope that as long as he lived he would have a chance, and that one day he would trample her beneath his feet. He then states that he did not know what positions Lady Zixuan preferred so that he could cooperate with her harvesting. She turned her head slightly, showing a faint flush on her ear, while Zhao Mu looked at her. Saintess warned him not to ask what he should not ask, as purple energy gathered at her side. The purple energy burst forth and swept through the room. She led the way and told him to keep up as they arrived at the Purple Sky Cave abode. Saintess explained that this was the Purple Sky Cave abode, where she cultivated in seclusion and that no one would disturb them there. As she walked ahead, Zhao Mu followed behind. He moved closer toward her, adjusting his clothes. Saintess turned back and questioned what he was doing. He answered that he was cooperating with her harvesting. Saintess told Zhao Mu that he did not need to take off his clothes because she had her own arrangements. Zhao Mu laughed awkwardly and remarked that Lady Zixuan liked to take the initiative and that he often encountered this type, then began to say that based on his experience, mutual cooperation in harvesting had better effects. Before he could finish, a cloth wrapped tightly over his mouth, cutting off his words as he struggled. Saintess ordered him to close his eyes and mouth at once and to help her cultivate. She warned that otherwise he would die, her expression turning cold as petals drifted around her. After that, Zhao Mu was flung into water, splashing heavily as he gasped for air. Saintess stood over him and told him to wash his body clean. He answered that he would obey her command. Zhao Mu stared in disbelief, thinking that he might be dreaming as he looked at Saintess. She snapped at him to be quiet. As he tried to speak again, he was hurled away by a surge of purple energy, crashing back with a cry as the force struck him once more. Zhao Mu admitted that he had not expected the Saintess to be a holy knight as well, and that he could not resist at all. He suddenly panicked and called out for the Saintess, demanding to know where she was. Two girls appeared before him, one named Enlele and the other named Yuan. They asked what was wrong with him, and questioned whether they were not pretty enough. Zhao Mu was flustered as the two pressed close to him, touching his chest. and Lele explained that they were puppets created by the master to specialize in responding to his red yang power. The two moved in closer, pressing him down as he let out a strained groan, and Yuan told him to cooperate properly and that he would be done within 2 hours. Xiaomu realized that the saintess had found tools to replace her in extracting his red yang power and scoffed at the idea of being looked down on. One of the sisters reacted in surprise as he suddenly grabbed her arm. He pushed her down and declared that he would show his true strength. The other cried out at him not to treat her sister that way and called him a bastard. Xiaomu leaned in close to her, baring his teeth in anger as she froze in shock. She pleaded for him to hurry and stop at the same time. Time passed, and after that, sounds of strained cries continued, and Saintess frowned, wondering how long this would go on. Later, the two sisters lay exhausted on the platform while Xiaomu rested in the hot spring below. Xiaomu observed that the hot spring could enhance his red yang power, and that even after such a long time, he still felt full of energy. The two sisters walked unsteadily towards Saintess, one muttering weakly while the other cursed him under her breath. Xiaomu looked over at them in confusion. They knelt before Saintess and admitted their wrongdoing, saying they deserved death for their crimes. Saintess explained that Xiaomu's constitution was simply too tyrannical, which was why the time had been delayed. She added that she had watched the whole process like in 4K quality, and that the matter was not their fault. Saintess instructed the two to leave the red yang liquid behind and go down to repair and heal. The two bowed in unison and agreed, then turned and left as ordered. Saintess noticed Xiaomu standing behind her and reacted with mild surprise. Xiaomu asked whether his performance this time had been decent. She crossed her arms and judged that it was only so-so. Saintess extended her hand and told him that this was his reward. A glowing pouch flew toward him, and he reacted in surprise as he caught it. Xiaomu recognized the contents as 10 million spirit stones and 4 bottles of top-grade Foundation Establishment pills, smiling in satisfaction. He praised the Saintess for her generosity as expected. Saintess asked why he was still lingering there and what he was standing around for. He hesitated and stalled. Xiaomu suggested that if she wanted to absorb red yang power, the effect would be better if they directly dual cultivated. Saintess flushed, stared at him, and cut him off. She ordered him to get out and said she did not want to see him right now. Xiaomu called out to her in confusion, and a surge of purple power erupted and flung him away. Xiaomu reappeared inside the room, still wrapped in the remaining force, and let out an awkward sound. He realized he had been sent back to Li Qi's side again, and remarked that the Saintess's methods were indeed ruthless. The system reported that he had contributed a large amount of red yang power to Zixuan, and that her red yang sacred body had greatly improved. He reacted in surprise. Xiaomu sat down and began cultivating as yellow flames rose around him. He reflected that, just as he thought before, changing people truly yielded more system rewards. He concluded that as long as the Saintess needed his red yang power, he would have a foothold in the sect from now on. Meanwhile, Saintess lifted a bowl of red yang liquid, which clearly does not look red, so it's possible that it's our bro's juice. Saintess hoped that his red yang liquid would not disappoint her. Her expression shifted as she felt an awkward reaction, and she let out a strange sound while holding the bowl. Saintess scoffed, and stated that a mere furnace could not affect her cultivation. The two attendants observed that the Lady Saintess actually became distracted while cultivating, and wondered whether the brat's red yang liquid had side effects. The next day arrived. Li Qi woke up and yawned as she stretched on the bed. She noticed Xiaomu sitting nearby in meditation, surrounded by golden energy. She remarked that getting up so early to cultivate showed that junior brother Zhao was becoming more and more diligent. Xiaomu replied that he had only coincidentally felt a trace of inspiration for a breakthrough. She leaned closer and suggested that since his realm had improved, he should challenge the Climbing Heaven Road with her. Scene shifts at Climbing Heaven Road, that is an ancient secret realm of the St. Yuan demon sect. It has a total of 12 layers. Generally, those who can ascend to the 3rd layer are qualified to rank within the top 100 of the outer sect Heavenly Pride rank. Starting from the 3rd layer, great demons at the core formation level will appear. Lu Qi explains that Chu Jiaoran is ranked 9th on the outer sect Heavenly Pride rank, and that she can persist for the time of 1 stick of incense on the 4th layer. Zhao Mu tells his senior sister that she actually does not have to go to such lengths for him. Lu Qi replies that this is not only helping him but also helping herself, cause people always say Chu Jiaoran is the female cultivator with the most potential in the outer sect, but she cannot agree. She intends to see, between the human race and the demon race, exactly which side is truly superior. Zhao Mu thinks that although the St. Yuan demon sect treats humans and demons equally, struggles and rivalries still exist between them. He then states that he is also an outer disciple now, so it just happens that they can go together. Lu Qi happily agrees. The two of them walk forward together toward the swirling purple gate of Climbing Heaven Road. Some cultivator comes out, and a cultivator sighs that he has failed again, and complains that the monsters on the 3rd layer of the Climbing Heaven Road are truly terrifying. Another admits he does not know how those heavenly prides managed to pass it. Someone else dismisses the complaint, remarking that otherwise they would not be called heavenly prides. They respectfully speak to senior brother Niu, saying he is still formidable. During this challenge of the climbing heaven road, his ranking has risen by 47 places. They add that given time, he will surely secure a place within the top 10 of the outer sect Heavenly Pride rank. One of them asks how he suddenly became so much stronger during this period. The outer sect Heavenly Pride rank 79. Na Yutai laughs and declares that it is naturally due to his talent and hard work. He suddenly notices something and turns his head toward the entrance. Chu Jiaoran calls out to him, reminding Niu Tai not to forget who helped him improve his cultivation and ordering him to hurry and complete the task she gave him. He immediately responds eagerly that he understands. At that moment, Zhao Mu and Lu Qi walk into the area together. Seeing them, Niu Tai asks Lu Qi if she plans to climb the climbing heaven road with that soft rice-eating pretty boy. Lu Qi calmly questions how he can call Zhao Mu a pretty boy, and mentions that she heard he was defeated by this same pretty boy. Niu Tai angrily insists that it only happened because Zhao Mu sneaked an attack on him during the chaos. Zhao Mu calmly remarks that a defeated opponent should not make a spectacle of himself, adding that they still need to challenge the climbing heaven road. Furious, Niu Tai curses under his breath as the two walk past him. Niu Tai roars in anger and slams his fist into the ground. The impact cracks the stone floor as red energy bursts around him. He immediately throws some rocks forward and shouts for them to stop right there, but Zhao Mu quickly pulls Lu Qi into his arms and moves aside, narrowly avoiding the attack as the force crashes past them. The strike continues forward and crashes into the ground behind them, leaving a deep mark on the stone surface. The system informs Zhao Mu that outer disciple Na Yutai has issued a sparring challenge and asks whether he chooses to accept or refuse. Na Yutai stands confidently amid the shattered ground and lets out a low laugh. Lu Qi quickly warns Zhao Mu not to accept, explaining that Niu Tai's cultivation has broken through quite a bit and that he should not be provoked. Zhao Mu calmly smiles and reassures her that she can rest easy because he knows his limits. He then remarks that simple sparring is boring and suggests adding a wager. Na Yutai reacts with interest. He declares that if he loses, he will return the second-grade flying sword. Zhao Mu responds that if he loses, he will use the storage ring on his hand as the bet. The challenge becomes effective as Niu Tai and Zhao Mu glare at each other face to face. Around the barrier, several disciples notice the commotion and wonder if there is a challenge match happening. Some say they heard that Niu Tai is fighting the pretty boy from the servant courtyard. Another disciple realizes that it is Zhao Mu and recalls that he was only recently promoted to outer disciple. Someone else remarks that Zhao Mu supposedly has the pure yang constitution, and that the female cultivators in the outer sect, who practice the 9 yin divine art, have all had relations with him, calling it extremely enviable. One of them snorts in disdain and condemns him for selling his body for glory, calling it a shame to the demon sect. Chu Jiaoran watches with a teasing smile, and remarks that when she previously harvested from junior brother Zhao Mu, he always seemed absent-minded, and now it turns out he has a little lover like this. She recognizes that it truly is Lu Ji. Lu Ji stands quietly while Chu Jiaoran continues speaking, saying this may actually be a good thing. She adds that for a bird determined to fly away, the best ending is to be pinched to death in one's own hands. Before the fight begins, Chu Jiaoran tells Niu Tai to use his full strength regardless of life or death, and not to waste the opportunity she has given him. Niu Tai confidently assures her that senior sister can rest easy because he will definitely not disappoint her. He immediately bursts forward with violent momentum, red energy flaring around him as he charges across the ground. Seeing this, Lu Qi anxiously shouts for junior brother Zhao to watch out. Na Yutai leaps high into the air and roars that Zhao Mu should die as he descends with both fists raised, ready to smash down on him. A violent explosion of red energy erupts as Na Yutai's attack crashes into the ground. Several disciples immediately recognize the technique and remark that it is the afterimage step. They explain that Na Yutai was already known for his strength, and now that he has cultivated the afterimage step, his power has received a multiplied boost. Someone adds that it is worthy of someone ranked among the top 100 of the outer sect Heavenly Pride rank. Others watching believe Zhao Mu is finished, and say this will probably become the quickest challenge match to end in the history of the Yuan demon sect. Another warns that if Niu Tai does not hold back his strength, Zhao Mu might even be in mortal danger. Lu Qi clenches her fist as Chu Jiaoran angrily accuses them, asking whether they all offended Chu Jiaoran since that is exactly why this situation is happening. She calmly watches and remarks with indifference that it is a pity. She adds that if Zhao Mu had obediently acted like her dog, perhaps he could have lived a little longer. Suddenly the spectators are shocked. Someone blurts out in disbelief that the attack was blocked and wonders if their eyes are playing tricks on them. Chu Jiaoran turns in surprise and questions how that is possible, wondering whether the pure yang constitution is truly that formidable. Amid the settling dust, Na Yutai is forced down on one knee while Zhao Mu stands in front of him, gripping both of his horns and pressing his head downward. Na Yutai struggles in disbelief and demands to know how this is possible. Zhao Mu calmly holds him down and mocks him, asking whether he has not eaten and if this little bit of strength is all he has. Furious and humiliated, Na Yutai calls him bastard, Seeing the situation, Chu Jiaoran immediately shouts for Niu Tai to stop being an idiot and quickly eat the pill she gave him. Niu Tai struggles under Zhao Mu's grip and angrily declares that this is what Zhao Mu forced him to do. Zhao Mu looks at him with mild surprise as Niu Tai raises a small pill. He immediately bites down and swallows it. In the next moment, a violent surge of red energy erupts from his body. The ground cracks as the power bursts outward and forces Zhao Mu to step back. Niu Tai roars loudly as the energy around him grows more intense. He declares that he will let Zhao Mu witness his strongest form. His body swells with power as crimson aura burns around him. He activates the Minotaur form. Zhao Mu looks at the transformed Niu Tai and remarks with surprise that there is now an ox. Lu Qi angrily accuses Chu Jiaoran of being despicable and helping Niu Tai cheat in the duel. Chu Jiaoran calmly responds that this cannot be considered cheating. She explains that the demon spirit pill can stimulate the bloodline power within the bodies of the demon race for a short time, and adds that this power already exists within their race, with the pill merely stimulating it. Niu Tai crouches low within the raging red aura and declares that today he will definitely kill Zhao Mu without leaving an intact corpse. He immediately launches forward and unleashes After-Image Strike. The spectators watch in shock as Niu Tai moves at extreme speed. One of them says the speed is so fast that he cannot clearly see senior brother Niu's movements, while another wonders if this is the fully awakened barbaric ox bloodline. Zhao Mu snorts as he dodges the attack and leaves behind Niu Tai afterimages. The powerful strike rushes past, tearing part of Zhao Mu's sleeve and leaving a shallow cut on his arm. He looks at the wound and calmly realizes that the attack did not even directly graze him, yet the wind pressure alone still managed to injure him. Niu Tai is suddenly blasted backward as a powerful force erupts around him and sends his body flying across the ground. The shockwave spreads through the surroundings, and even the distant gate structure trembles under the impact. Several disciples struggle to remain standing as the force sweeps over them. One of them exclaims that the impact force is far too strong. Another cannot understand how this could be the power a Foundation Establishment realm cultivator should possess, and remarks that core formation would normally be nothing more than this. Someone else states that the physical strength of the demon race truly cannot be compared to the human race. Amid the dust, Niu Tai steadies himself and lets out a low snort. He glares at Zhao Mu and declares that he will not let him escape this time. With his body still burning with red aura, he charges forward again. Zhao Mu calmly faces him and acknowledges that Niu Tai's strength is indeed not small. But before Niu Tai can react, Zhao Mu gathers power into his fist as golden energy surges around him. Both of them rush toward each other at high speed. Zhao Mu's fist crashes forward and slams heavily into Niu Tai's face. Niu Tai's massive body is hurled backward through the air from Zhao Mu's punch. Blood sprays from his mouth as the force sends him spinning before he crashes headfirst into the ground and skids across the stone floor, shattering the surface and leaving a long trail of destruction. Chu Jiaoran watches the scene with shock and cannot believe what she is seeing. Niu Tai lies buried among broken stone, his body battered and motionless. Someone nearby remarks in disbelief that Zhao Mu actually killed Niu Tai instantly after his demon transformation with just one move, and wonders if the pure Yang constitution is truly this powerful. Zhao Mu stands calmly within a golden aura, as someone questions when he managed to break through to the Foundation Establishment realm, and notes that the power of his punch is even more terrifying than Niu Tai's strength. Lu Qi happily rushes to Zhao Mu's side and praises him. He gently reminds her that many people are watching. She smiles warmly and admits that she truly did not misjudge him. Nearby, Chu Jiaoran crosses her arms and looks at the defeated Niu Tai with clear disgust, calling him useless trash. She then orders the surrounding disciples to carry Niu Tai away. The disciples immediately bow and acknowledge the order before moving to obey. As several disciples move to carry Niu Tai away, Zhao Mu suddenly calls out for them to wait. 3 of Niu Tai's companions step forward angrily. They protest that Boss Niu has already been beaten like this and question what more Zhao Mu wants. One of them adds that even if the ox is killed, it only means its head hits the ground, while the others loudly echo their agreement. Zhao Mu calmly smiles and states that he is a reasonable person. He takes out a small pouch and explains that it contains 10,000 spirit stones. He tosses the pouch forward and tells them to consider it the medical expenses for this incident. The pouch bursts open as it lands, and colorful spirit stones scatter across Niu Tai's battered body. One disciple mutters that Zhao Mu is truly arrogant to humiliate Niu Tai like this. Another jokes that if someone gave him 10,000 spirit stones, he would be willing to get beaten as well, while someone else admits that the handsome young man actually looks quite impressive right now. At that moment, the system reports that Ding gave away 10,000 spirit stones, triggering a 100-fold return and obtaining 1 million spirit stones. Zhao Mu looks slightly dissatisfied and remarks that it only triggered a 100-fold return. Behind him, Chu Jiaoran watches with a pleased expression and quietly praises him. She approaches Zhao Mu with a charming smile and remarks that this is exactly what she expected from the man she has taken a liking to, adding that she likes him more and more. She then invites him to return to her side and promises that she will give him everything he desires. As Chu Jiaoren reaches toward Zhao Mu, he stops her. Zhao Mu looks at her coldly and tells her that she is not worthy. Chu Jiaoren's expression instantly darkens. Surrounded by blazing purple energy, she angrily demands to know what he just said. At that moment, Lu Qi suddenly come between them, her figure landing firmly on the ground as blue energy spreads around her. She declares that Zhao Mu is a person, not some cargo that can be casually discarded after being used. Facing Chu Jiaoren directly, she states that she will challenge the Climbing Heaven Road, surpass her rank, and then fairly and squarely issue a challenge. She also promises that the harm Chu Jiaoren caused Zhao Mu will be repaid in full. Zhao Mu and Lu Qi begin walking away together. He praises senior sister Lu, saying what she said earlier was extremely cool. Lu Qi simply replies that it is good as long as they understand. She then places her hand on a swirling purple portal and steps through it, with Zhao Mu following behind. Behind them, Chu Jiaoren stands surrounded by violent purple energy, furious as she curses them. Surrounded by raging purple energy, Chu Jiaoren glares forward with fury and declares that Lu Qi and Zhao Mu should remember this well, because she definitely will not let either of them have it easy. A man remarks that Chu Jiaoren is 9th on the outer sex heavenly pride ranking and a rising star of the Fox clan. Another person adds that Lu Qi is also the granddaughter of the 12th elder, Lu Haokong, holding a noble status, and that in terms of beauty she does not lose to Chu Jiaoren in the slightest. The onlookers comment that it is surprising to see two such stunning beauties actually becoming jealous over Zhao Mu, which makes others feel envious. Meanwhile, at the Demon Sect's Holy Land, the Nine-Dragon Sword Mount, Long Tianshang sits cross-legged in meditation beneath a towering sword as purple energy swirls around him. His eyes suddenly open. In an instant, he attacks a nearby rock, splitting it into half. After the energy settles, Long Tianshang calmly remarks that it is just so-so. At that moment, Niu Ao approaches and calls out as he reports to senior brother Long. Long Tianxiang turns slightly in response. Niu Ao respectfully explains that word is spreading in the outer sect that junior sister Lu Qi is becoming jealous over a handsome young man together with Chu Jiaoran of the Fox clan. He was worried this matter might affect Long Tianxiang's reputation, so he came specifically to report it. Golden sword energy erupts around Long Tianxiang as he stands on the stone platform, glaring down at Niu Ao and asking how he dared disturb his secluded cultivation over such a trivial matter. The golden sword lights suddenly shoot forward. Niu Ao is struck repeatedly by the sharp streaks of energy and cries out in pain as they pierce into him. Panicking, Niu Ao quickly apologizes and begs senior brother Long not to blame him, saying it was his fault for being abrupt, and that he will leave immediately. As Niu Ao begins to retreat, Long Tianxiang suddenly tells him to hold on. Niu Ao stops and respectfully asks if senior brother Long has any other instructions. In the next instant, a surge of force bursts from Long Tianxiang. Niu Ao is slammed down violently and groans in pain as the pressure overwhelms him. Shocked and confused, Niu Ao asks why this is happening. Long Tianxiang calmly tells him to stop struggling and look at his chest. Niu Ao looks down and sees a glowing sword-shaped mark shining from his chest. Long Tianxiang explains that it is a strand of sword intent he condensed. Still confused, Niu Ao asks what senior brother Long means by that. Long Tianxiang coldly remarks that there are always some ants who do not know the immensity of heaven and earth. With a casual motion, while leaving, he orders Niu Ao to get rid of the person for him. Niu Ao grins as the glowing sword intent within his chest ignites, thanking senior brother Long. Elsewhere, at the Climbing Heaven Road, Zhao Mu and Lu Qi step forward together onto the platform surrounded by swirling spiritual energy. Lu Qi explains that the Climbing Heaven Road will automatically record how many floors a disciple climbs, and since it is Zhao Mu's first time, the two of them will be separated during the trial. Zhao Mu nods, indicating that he understands. After a moment, Zhao Mu calls out to Lu Qi as senior sister. In an instant, Lu Qi blushes slightly and gives him a quick kiss. She quickly steps away afterward, reminding Zhao Mu to be careful. Watching her leave, Zhao Mu smiles faintly and replies that the one who should be careful is her. With that, Zhao Mu turns and walks forward alone toward the trial ahead. Zhao Mu walks forward alone along the first floor of the Climbing Heaven Road when he suddenly senses something unusual ahead. From the thick clouds, several demon beasts begin to emerge. A giant rooster demon appears first, so our bro can beat his meat. Soon after, a ferocious wolf demon crawls out, followed by a grotesque toad-like monster with a long tongue. Without hesitation, the beasts leap toward Zhao Mu and attack together. Zhao Mu calmly steps backward, the beats attack sending a shockwave that smashes the ground. Observing the beasts, Zhao Mu realizes that the first floor of the Climbing Heaven Road actually contains Foundation Establishment Realm demon beasts, something that should be impossible for a newly admitted outer disciple to handle. However, Zhao Mu remains completely unfazed. As one of the beasts is hurled into the air, Zhao Mu suddenly splits into several swift afterimages and dashes across the battlefield. Sharp spikes descend from above, but Zhao Mu effortlessly weaves through them with incredible speed. Golden energy begins to surge around him as he smiles confidently. Zhao Mu then declares that it is now his turn to counterattack. He launches his counterattack. As a blazing golden fist surges forward like a meteor, the powerful strike crashes into the group of demon beasts, blasting the wolf into the air and sending the toad and rooster tumbling violently across the ground. In the blink of an eye, the remaining beasts are swept away by the overwhelming force. Standing calmly amid the scattered monsters, Zhao Mu flicks the flames from his hand and remarks that the trial was far too easy. Moments later, an announcement tells him that he has passed the first floor and may choose one of 3 rewards. 3 glowing items appear before him: a sword, a bottle of pills, and a jade technique manual. Zhao Mu's gaze immediately settles on the manual. The manual is a yellow rank high-grade technique called Burning Flame Palm. Zhao Mu smiles slightly, thinking that he had just been worrying about lacking a combat technique that could match his red yang sacred body. Receiving this technique now feels perfectly timed. Without hesitation, Zhao Mu selects the manual. Golden runes descend around him as he begins to comprehend the technique. Following the instructions, Zhao Mu first draws the true fire of the sun into his body, then channels the blazing solar energy to strengthen the palm technique. A brilliant golden aura bursts from his hand as the burning flame palm takes form. Zhao Mu then thrusts his palm forward, releasing a blazing strike that shatters the surrounding stone with explosive force. Satisfied with the result, Zhao Mu smiles confidently and declares that the second floor awaits him. At the Climbing Heaven Road 3rd layer, a powerful blue energy crashes down onto the ground. Lu Qi moves swiftly, slashing forward with her sword as a demon beast is struck and blood sprays out. She lets out a confident sound while continuing her advance. By passing the 3rd layer, one can choose one of 3 rewards. Lu Qi continues moving forward at high speed. Observer outside says that Lu Qi has rushed into the top 50, having passed the 3rd layer and soon heading toward the 4th. At the ranking board, a crowd gathers while the current number 1 outer sect Heavenly Pride, Nalan Chuang, is noted to have remained in the 4th layer for a full 2 hours. As long as Lu Qi can hold on for 15 minutes, she can enter the top 10% of the outer sect Heavenly Pride ranking. Someone suddenly notices something unusual. Zhao Mu's name appears on the Heavenly Pride ranking. The onlookers are shocked and remark that for him to enter the top 1,000 right after passing the 1st layer, his clearing time must have been extremely short. Since Zhao Mu could defeat Niu Tai, reaching the 3rd layer should not be a problem for him. Chu Jiaoran watches with a displeased expression and remarks that those two must not have done less dual cultivation recently. Nearby, a blue-haired man flicks his hair lightly. He walks forward calmly as someone remarks that Nalan Chuang has also appeared. This is the number 1 outer sect Heavenly Pride, and that it is said he is a half-blood Qilin. Another person comments that he looks quite handsome but feels he is too much of a poser, while someone else agrees and adds that he is probably just relying on his noble bloodline. Nalan Chuang appears before them, and the two immediately recognize him as senior brother Nalan. His arm transforms, muscles swelling as a powerful aura gathers around it. In the next instant he strikes, and both men are knocked down with blood splattering from the impact. He calmly states that he hates it most when people gossip behind others' backs. Chu Jiaoran stands nearby at that moment. She asks what he is doing here. Nalan Chuang casually replies that he heard she has been keeping Zhao Mu occupied, along with another woman, and that he came specifically to mock her. Hearing this, Chu Jiaoran's expression turns furious as she releases a surge of purple energy and declares that he is courting death. Chu Jiaoran immediately charges forward, striking toward him with her attack. Nalan Chuang remarks with a faint smile that she looks anxious. Chu Jiaoran's attack is suddenly intercepted as a hand grabs her wrist mid-strike. At the same time, Niu Ao also blocks the incoming force, stopping the clash instantly. He appears between them, radiating heat as flames rise around his body. Seeing him, both react in shock as they recognize Niu Ao. A man says that he is ranked 8th on the Intersect Heavenly Pride list and is at the peak of the core formation stage. Niu Ao exhales sharply, his expression fierce. Chu Jiaoran mocks him, asking if he is trying to avenge his cousin now, and whether he is not afraid that Zhao Mu's woman, the elder's granddaughter, will cause him trouble. Niu Ao snorts in response. He then declares that this time it was senior brother Long Tianshang who instructed him, so there is nothing to fear. He tightens his grip as the glowing sword mark on his arm ignites with power. Nearby, Nalan Chuang laughs and remarks that it seems his trip was not in vain. He then observes with interest that a small outer sect disciple is facing a peak core formation expert, finding the situation quite amusing. Suddenly, someone calls out to look over at the ranking board. A man announced that Zhao Mu has already entered the top 200. Another reacts in shock, wondering how it could be so fast. At the Climbing Heaven Road, 2nd layer, Zhao Mu unleashes the burning flame palm, and a blazing strike crashes down, destroying the attacking demon beast in an instant. He got to know that by passing the 2nd layer, he can choose one of 3 rewards. 3 items appear before Zhao Mu. He looks at them and remarks that saber techniques are useless to him, and origin nurturing pills are no different from jelly beans. He then decides to choose the remaining option. A second-grade flying sword named White Jade Glow appears. Zhao Mu controls the flying sword with a gesture, letting it circle around him. After observing it, he concludes that this grade is completely inadequate, and that he needs to find a way to give it away. He then walks toward the portal leading forward and pauses slightly, reacting with a brief sound. On the next layer, multiple demon beasts emerge at once, surrounding him. Facing the overwhelming number, Zhao Mu remarks that this is far too many. Zhao Mu realizes that it is no wonder most outer disciples only have the ability to pass the third layer after breaking through to the core formation stage. Golden energy surges around him as he gathers power in his hands. He then unleashes a massive burst of force upward, causing a violent explosion that shakes the surroundings. He continues forward and states that since he is already here, even if he cannot pass, he must test the upper limit of his strength. A demon beast reacts in shock at his speed. Zhao Mu moves instantly and declares that striking first will give him the upper hand as he uses the burning flame palm again. He crashes down with overwhelming force, smashing into the ground and sending debris flying. He then declares that it is over. However, a beast suddenly appears behind him and lunges. Zhao Mu reacts quickly, letting out a sharp sound as he counters with a kick, striking the creature's head. Another beast charges in, slamming down with force, but Zhao Mu's attack hits first, causing it to cry out in pain as his teeth broke. Amid the aftermath, Zhao Mu sits within the smoke and states that he only suffered superficial injuries, questioning whether this is the true strength of the Red Yang sacred body. Two demon beasts rush toward Zhao Mu from both sides. He lets out a dismissive sound and immediately moves. With a burst of speed, he strikes through them, his body flashing past as golden energy trails behind him. He shouts as he continues attacking, cutting through the beasts in a single sweeping motion. After landing, Zhao Mu stands firmly as the defeated creatures collapse behind him, and he remarks with a faint laugh that it is not bad. More demon beasts gather in front of him, their red eyes glowing as they surround him again. Facing them, Zhao Mu states that relying on his invincible physical body, there might truly be a chance of passing. Flames spiral violently, forming multiple blazing vortices that surge forward. Zhao Mu walks straight ahead, both of his hands wrapped in burning fire as the flames roar upward. The firestorm engulfs everything in front of him, swallowing the remaining demon beasts completely. Amid the blazing inferno, Zhao Mu smiles and states that he actually succeeded. Green energy begins to circulate around his body, rapidly healing the wounds across him. He explains that under the constant baptism of the Red Yang power, his physical body is not only resistant to damage, but its recovery ability is also extremely fast. With renewed strength, Zhao Mu considers that he may now have the ability to challenge the fourth layer. Well, upon passing the third layer, one may choose one of three rewards. Zhao Mu looks at the three floating options and recalls that pills and magical treasures obtained in the Climbing Heaven Road cannot be used inside. After thinking, he concludes that if he wants to challenge the fourth layer, he can only choose a new cultivation method. He reaches out toward the glowing manual. Sitting down, Zhao Mu begins cultivating as energy gathers into his hands. He reflects that the Climbing Heaven Road has no time limit, so it will not be too late to challenge the fourth layer after mastering this technique. Meanwhile, a disciple stares in disbelief and questions whether there has been a mistake. Another immediately refutes it, stating that the Climbing Heaven Grand Array was created by the Saint Yuan Patriarch and has never had a single error in 8,000 years. The ranking board updates, displaying Zhao Mu in 13th place. The disciple exclaims in shock, wondering how Zhao Mu managed to achieve this. Another calls Zhao Mu a monster, stating that he broke through the third layer in less than half a quarter of an hour. Chu Jiaoren frowns as she listens, her expression turning serious. Others point out that Zhao Mu is only at the fifth layer of foundation establishment. Even an early-stage core formation cultivator might not reach such speed. Chu Jiaoren questions what kind of opportunity Zhao Mu encountered to improve so terrifyingly. Niuao steps forward, mocking the crowd and saying that a mere outer sect heavenly pride ranking is enough to shock them like this. He declares that the outer sect is full of worthless people. At that moment, a disciple suddenly shouts that senior sister Lu has come out. Lu Qi emerges from the purple portal. A disciple announces that she lasted a quarter of an hour on the fourth layer and is temporarily ranked 9th. Another says that she has pushed Chu Jiaoren down to 10th place. The surrounding crowd congratulates her. Lu Qi calmly responds that it is nothing, and Chu Jiaoren says that moving up a few places is nothing to be proud of. Lu Qi smiles calmly and remarks that it is only a few places, but still slightly better than a certain vixen. Chu Jiaoren snorts coldly in response. Chu Jiaoren then challenges her, saying that even if Lu Qi surpassed her, inner-sect senior brother Niuao is present, and asks whether she can protect Zhao Mu from him. She gestures toward Niuao and lets out a soft laugh. Lu Qi identifies Niuao as Niu Tai's older cousin. Her expression turns serious as she realizes the situation. She concludes that Niuao came because of Niu Tai, meaning Zhao Mu is now truly in trouble. Meanwhile, Zhao Mu sits cross-legged, surrounded by crackling purple lightning. A streak of lightning flashes across his eye as his gaze sharpens. He activates a technique, releasing surging arcs of lightning. The attack strikes outward, blasting the ground and shattering stone. Zhao Mu reflects that lightning attribute cultivation methods are indeed difficult to practice. The attack range of the purple lightning entanglement is quite large. He concludes that the move will be especially useful when fighting multiple enemies at once. Zhao Mu exhales lightly and says he has rested enough. He looks ahead at the next level and wonders what kind of enemy awaits him on the 4th layer. A fierce beast suddenly appears, baring its fangs as it lunges forward. Flames ignite across the beast's body as it crouches and prepares to strike. Zhao Mu faces it alone in the vast arena. He feels immense pressure from just this single beast. He resolves that he can only do his best. The beast charges with explosive speed. Zhao Mu reacts instantly, but the creature's attack cuts into him, drawing blood. He remarks on the beast's incredible speed. Without hesitation, he counters with a technique. He unleashes the burning flame palm. A surge of blazing energy erupts from his strike, slamming into the beast and exploding outward across the arena. Zhao Mu watches as the beast darts through the smoke at blinding speed. He realizes he cannot land a hit on it at all. He releases a surge of lightning, declaring that he will see if it can still run after being electrocuted. Purple lightning spreads across the ground, crackling outward. The beast is caught mid-air, its body wrapped in electricity. Zhao Mu declares that he has caught it. He gathers power in his palm and unleashes his strongest strike. Mid-attack, he realizes the creature can change direction in the air. The beast twists and evades, slipping past his strike. Zhao Mu states that the purple lightning entanglement is his true strongest move and that it cannot dodge at such close range. He drives forward again, lightning surging around his body. The beast bursts away at high speed, escaping the attack. Zhao Mu pauses, confused. A sudden strike lands on his shoulder. Blood splatters as the blow connects and his hand gets cut. His body trembles and he drops to his knees, clutching his wound. He lets out a faint laugh and admits this may be as far as he can go. He acknowledges the beast's victory. Systems suddenly rings out, stating that Zhao Mu fed himself to a demon beast, triggering a 10,000-fold return. Zhao Mu is startled and questions what just happened. A surge of energy bursts from his arm. Golden light rapidly spreads across his body. His flesh transforms, glowing with immense power. Flames erupt around him as his aura rises dramatically. His eyes sharpen, filled with newfound strength. The system announces that he has obtained the human emperor bloodline.
Zhao Mu reacts in shock as he realizes the 10,000-fold return and the human emperor bloodline, his body surrounded by rising golden energy. Well, when heaven and earth were first created, 100 races rose together and warlords fought for dominance. The human race once fell into weakness and was nearly driven to extinction, with powerful monsters looming over them. At that critical moment, a group of unmatched experts emerged from the human race, standing against the overwhelming enemies. Their bodies and bloodlines are tempered to the absolute limit, gaining unmatched and invincible combat power, and they turn danger into safety, defeat powerful enemies, and continue the inheritance of the human race. He stands within the golden flames, clenching his fist as he believes that one day he too can walk upon the river of stars and eliminate all invading enemies. He stands below, surrounded by a blazing golden aura as debris lifts around him when he just checks his power while attacking. The beast notices him and reacts in alarm. Zhao Mu faces the beast calmly and asks if the little leopard still wants to keep playing. While the beast growls and steadies itself, the beast lunges forward with claws extended, but he remains composed and remarks that now it truly looks too slow. As the attack reaches him, Zhao Mu moves instantly and strikes, his motion blurring as he counters. The next moment his attack lands cleanly through the beast's body. The strike splits through it as blood scatters, ending the exchange in a single decisive blow. He exhales lightly as the smoke settles around him. Bypassing the 4th layer, he is allowed to choose one of 3 rewards: a 4th-grade Windwalk Pill, a 4th-grade Artifact Frostfall Spear, or the black-rank mid-grade technique Great Steel Cleaving Hand. Seeing them all, he finds them good but notes it is a pity he can only choose one, then casually decides to pick a pill and give it to someone else. He looks outward and remarks that it should have become quite lively outside by now. Outside, a man calls everyone to come take a look as Zhao Mu's ranking has changed again, announcing that Zhao Mu has become first place on the Outer Sect Heavenly Pride rank. Lucci reacts with surprise, expressing that Zhao Mu actually did it, and Chujiaran wonders how it is possible for him to be number 1 in the Outer Sect. Nuoao thinks that for someone to become number 1 in the Outer Sect at only the 5th layer of Foundation establishment, he will need to use his full strength to obliterate him later. At that moment, Zhao Mu appears within a swirling purple vortex, marked by sudden alert. Several powerful demonic beasts stand together. their presence looming heavily. He faces the group of towering demonic beasts and notes that 5 mid-stage core formation great demons appearing together feels a bit exaggerated. As their shadows loom with glowing red eyes behind him, he raises both hands casually and tells the big shots there is no need for them to make a move, as he already knows his own limits. A powerful strike suddenly cuts across his body as a beast attack, but he calmly adds that they should not be impatient. One of the demons reacts angrily. Zhao Mu smiles lightly and tells them to wait until he has the strength next time to come challenge them again, adding that he believes it will not take too long. Outside, the gate opens, drawing attention. The crowd gathers as someone calls out for others to look, announcing that Zhao Mu has come out. Seeing the large number of people, Zhao Mu looks around and wonders if they are all here to welcome him. Niuao charges down from above with overwhelming force, slamming towards Zhao Mu as the ground cracks beneath the impact. Niuao faces him and declares that Zhao Mu has finally come out, adding that he has been waiting for a long time. Both chicks step forward to stand between them, positioning themselves protectively in front of Zhao Mu. Lucci warns him to be careful, explaining that the opponent is Niuao, ranked 8th among the intersect heavenly prides, while Chu Jiaran urges Zhao Mu to run first as they will hold the enemy back. Zhao Mu reacts in surprise. Zhao Mu understands Lucci is helping him, then looks at Chu Jiaran and asks what she is planning. Chu Jiaran responds that she naturally has her own reasons. Niue realizes that for Chu Jiaran and Lucci to protect Zhao Mu so firmly, the people behind them must have noticed Zhao Mu's potential, and he decides he cannot delay and must kill Zhao Mu before the elders arrive. He then orders them to get lost bitches, declaring that no one will stop him from avenging his cousin, and immediately launches himself forward in a powerful attack. As the attack rushes in, Zhao Mu remains seated calmly, letting out a steady breath. He then states that the warm-up is complete, and expresses his intention to experience the strength at the peak of core formation. Zhao Mu surges forward, wrapped in golden light, and the power of the human emperor bloodline bursts out as he drives his fist straight into Niuao. A massive explosion spreads outward from the impact, forcing everyone nearby to brace themselves. The onlookers are stunned, realizing this is truly the strength of the 5th layer of Foundation establishment, and that he can directly withstand the peak of core formation. They notice the radiance covering his body and begin to suspect its source. Niuao immediately recognizes it as the human emperor bloodline. Zhao Mu presses his palm against Niuao's attack and states that in a contest of strength, Niuao might not necessarily be his match, leaving Niuao shocked. Niuao grows tense, thinking about how many secrets Zhao Mu is hiding, and admits he can no longer hold back. With a fierce shout, he launches another heavy strike downward, his power surging violently. Lucci shout for Zhao Mu to run quickly. Niuao gathers his strength into the glowing blade from his chest and declares that Zhao Mu should die, stating that dying under this sword intent would be an honor. Zhao Mu is surrounded by golden radiance as his long hair whips upward, his expression steady while he raises his hand and gathers power, forming a sharp golden energy in front of him as he prepares to face the incoming strike. And with this, we've come to the end of today's episode. If you stayed till the last second, drop your thoughts about this story, and in the comments, guess what our MC will do next. A quick like helps more than you think, and subscribing makes sure you never miss what comes next. Thank you for watching, and check out this video right here.